My name is Grant Edward Ragan. I am 23 years old. I was born in April of 97. So my sister was born in 95. She was my older sister. We had our rivalries with certain things. Like we both loved to fish and we would try to outfish each other. And she almost always lost because she was very impatient. But for the most part, we got along fairly well, but we did have our rivalries. So my parents have been together since April of 1990. My parents have been together for over 30 years now, and my parents absolutely love each other. Everything was, fun growing up, especially, with my brother having autism. It was a huge blast growing up. I got to do and see a lot of interesting things, and I was exposed to a lot of stuff relatively young. I was fairly well educated as a child because my mother worked in the medical field. My dad was in the military for a couple of years before I was born. Then he was a sheet metal mechanic. Then he was a truck driver. She met this dude, and this is when I was going to the hospital a lot. And I noticed some of my painkillers around the house started disappearing. I'm like, well, what the fuck is going on? Like, I need these. I just had surgery. Where are these things going? And then, my sister was like, oh, I'm taking them for my boyfriend. I'm like, why the hell are you stealing my shit? That's mine. I need that. She goes, well, he has a pill addiction, and I just don't want him to be hurting all the time. I don't want him to go through that dope sickness. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. That's mine. And then it was only a matter of time before he was like, hey, Maddie, you want to crush one of these up, do a line? And my sister initially was like, no, I'm not into that. But peer pressure and just him being like, well, come on, I'm an addict. I want to be with a girl that can get high with me. So when I found out she was doing, like Dilaudits and stuff like that, I wasn't too concerned because I had been experimenting with stuff like that too. But it was shortly after she turned like 19 when we started really noticing some solid patterns. We were like, all right, small things around the house are going missing. Where's her cell phone? Where's her laptop? Why does she get paid? And then 2 days later, she's asking for money again. All things like this, little things that would go missing around the house that we didn't really think much of, like an old cell phone case that, like maybe $2, but whatever, it's lost, whatever. But then, other things started going missing, like, Maddie, where's your phone? I have no idea. Maddie, where's your laptop? I have no clue. Then, it started getting progressively worse. She stole one of my ex-girlfriend's laptops. She pawned 2 of my family's rings. One of them was my dad's wedding ring that he'll never be able to get back. And the other one was a ring that my great-grandmother smuggled out of the Ukraine in the 1930s to avoid German occupation. It was maybe after she had turned 20 where she got busted for the first time with needles and heroin on her in the house. She does have an addictive personality. It didn't matter whether it was going to be heroin or if it was going to be something else. It didn't really matter what it was. It was just going to be something. She just happened to pick the worst one. And we did everything in our power to get her the help that we could. But, ultimately, we feel like it was more or less because she didn't want to quit is the reason why she didn't quit. I did my best to try to keep up with her. However, I was always wary of when she would ask me for favors because I would never loan her money. And I told her that. I'm like, Maddie, if you need to borrow money, like for shopping or anything, I will make the drive to Eustis, where she was staying in her halfway house. I will make the drive and I will take you shopping. I will not give you money. I will never send you money. I will never give you cash. Because, even though I know you're in this halfway house, even though I know you're doing well, I can't trust that you won't go buy heroin with it. I wanted to give my sister the benefit of the doubt, but at the same time, it was like, I don't want to be the one responsible for her buying the bag that killed her. To the best of our knowledge, she was completely clean for 8 months, and then we got the call from the Lake County Police Department saying that they found her. She was in her room in a house that she was renting, or a bedroom that she was renting. I had just gone through a lot of personal stuff. And my mom had asked me to go to church with her that morning. So I'm like, that's fine. I'll go to church with you. And it was about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm just sitting in my bedroom, just watching videos on YouTube. My brother's playing video games. My dad's in the kitchen. Mom's sitting in the living room. And all of a sudden, I just hear this scream. And I will never forget this. I hear this at night. My mom just started screaming and bawling. And I initially thought, oh, well, she's probably watching something that's making her laugh. My mom laughs really loud, so she's probably just laughing. And then I was like, it's still going on. It can't be that damn funny. I better go see what's up. And I walk out of my bedroom and I look to my left and there's my dad in the kitchen. And my dad's crying. I had never seen my dad cry, but one time. And I was like, oh, this is real. Something just fucking happened. And I looked at my dad and I'm like, Dad, what the fuck? What happened? He just looks me dead in my face and he says, she's dead. He didn't even have to tell me who it was. I knew immediately who he was talking about. And I couldn't really say anything. I just was like, no, I don't believe it. I was in such a state of just denial. I was like, there's no way, she's clean. How the hell is she dead? So I went and I told my brother, who was playing video games, and he just instantly just headset off, controller down, Xbox off, and just looked me in my face, eyes already glassy, like, Grant, don't fuck with me. I'm not fucking with you. Mom's on the phone with Lake County right now. They found her. So they needed us to go out and identify the body. We made the drive out to Lake County. I don't remember the exact town in Lake County that she lived in, but it was in Lake County, Florida. And we get out there. Everyone's outside. The coroner's van is already pulled up, backed up to the front door. And we're all shaking. None of us have any color in our skin. Our eyes are sunken, glassy eyes the whole way. Almost an hour drive, no one said a word. Like, no one was on their phones. No one was listening to music. We just sat in silence for an hour car drive. And the coroner finally came out and they're like, are you the family? And we're like, yeah, we're the family. And they're like, all right, we need you to come in, identify the body. This is going to be hard, but please, we just need you to do this. And we're like, all right. So we walk in, they've got her on the gurney, they wheel her out, and the body bag is zipped up. And they're like, all right, this is going to be the hardest part. Are you guys ready? And we're like, let's do this. They unzipped the body bag, they folded it over, and there she was. She had already been dead for quite some time because her lips had already started to turn blue. Her body had already started to swell up a little bit, and she was already rigid and cold. And my dad and I, we just kind of stood back. We couldn't even believe what we were seeing. You know, it was like I had never known a life without my sister. And, you know, my dad was his first child and only daughter. So it was just unbelievable for him. He just couldn't believe it. And Mom and my brother Mom actually was able to touch her, as was my brother. My dad and I couldn't do it. And Mom, you know, she's got her hands on either side of her head, stroking her hair, kissing her, telling her how much she loves her. And my brother's just holding her hand and telling her how much he loves her and how much she misses her. And my dad and I just couldn't say anything. We were just so shocked that here she was. She still had foam coming out of her nose, and her mouth was bleeding a little bit, but I don't know what the bleeding was from, but it was. And she was wearing her Motley Crue shirt. It was her favorite shirt. And Mom actually gave her a lot of shit for that shirt because it had a pentagram on it, and Mom hated it. But the coroners, they were like, you know, is this her? And we're like, yeah, that's her. And after that, you know, we all went outside and I started chain smoking. I didn't even have cigarettes on me. I just had my vape, and I probably drained a tank in about 30 minutes. I was just steady smoking, just absolutely in shock that this was happening. And then they were like, all right, we gotta take her out. We gotta go. I'm like, okay. And we got to say goodbye one last time as they were loading her in. They were like, do you guys have anything to say before we zip her back up and put her in the van? We just stood over her, told her how much we loved her, and then they zipped her up, put her in the van, and they took off. After that, we got back in the car, and we drove to Orlando to my dad's parents' house to tell them what had happened. And on the way there, we're making phone calls to everyone who will listen. My mom's parents, they were up in North Carolina, I believe, and mom called and like, hey, we have some really bad news. We just had to identify Maddie's body. She's dead. And we went over to my dad's parents' house, told them. I called up my buddies. My brother called up his buddies, and we're like, we gotta let people know because don't post anything on Facebook, don't put anything on Instagram, don't do anything because we want to be the ones that say, Maddie, we're so sorry. We wish we could have helped more. But we wanted to be the ones to post everything on Facebook. We just wanted other people to know that we could immediately contact. The family's doing really well. My brother, despite his autism, was fine. Was able to get a job. He doesn't have that job anymore, but he was able to get a job. My mom had a gastric bypass surgery, and she's lost a lot of weight. And she's very happy with with what's happened with her. My dad's currently at his job. He's actually about to take a test to legally be able to test people to get their CDLs. And I've just been buried in work for the most part. And I got a memorial tattoo for Maddie. My mom's about to get one, and my brother wants to get one too. But as far as the processing is concerned, we're still really upset. We still miss her more and more every day, but we're moving along as if she was still here rooting for us. Yeah, of course.
This camera right here?
Of course. It's the seahorse right here. It has her date of birth, the date she died, and the story behind this is my sister had the guy that got her into heroin or into the pills had his name tattooed right here on her, and she covered it up with a seahorse. Well, I sleep in her room, the room that she grew up in as a child, and I typically just do my best to leave it alone. I haven't repainted it. I haven't, as far as moving the furniture around, I still use her dresser. And I do my best to make sure that, whenever people ask about her, to tell them that, despite her addiction, when she wasn't on her shit, she was a phenomenal person. Maddie, I love you so much. I miss you more and more every day. And, your birthday's coming up. And it hurts when your birthday comes around. Your first birthday without you was so terrible. And I love you and I miss you so much. And to anyone who knows someone with addiction or is struggling with addiction, there are resources out there to help you. And I really hope that you'll do what you need to do to make yourself better, because you're better without it. You don't need it.